Ladies and gentlemen, the Double RT Boxing Show with Mr.A. Post-fight recap number 65 shall begin shortly. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, left hooks get people put to sleep. Don't ask me. Just look at Lucas Browne. This is a post-fight recap of the Dillian Whyte and Lucas Browne full card. And what you're tuned into is the Double RT Boxing Show. Your host, Mr.A. Thank you for your support. Hit that thumbs up because this is your show. I'm just the host, so support your show. Now, what we are talking is the full cap of the card. Before we go into the 4 fights we will talk about, we'll go to 2 previously fights that I didn't get to see, but just little tidbits. You got Jamie Cox from the super middleweight tournament. He picked up a victory since his defeat and exit from the tournament. He defeated Harry Matthews with a second round knockout. And earlier, before that, Anthony Fowler picked up his 5th victory with a 5th round TKO over Henry Matthews. So if the studio could find time, we'll go back and check those out for you guys. Now, going into the card itself, we had Derek Chisora in action. He got himself a second round TKO of Zakaria Azzouzi. It looked like your typical Derek Chisora performance post Dillian Whyte fight. He let his hands go a little bit more, but he dropped down to his level of competition, looking like it was a mismatched sparring session. Clearly, Derek Chisora's fight to win. It wasn't a good performance. It was, like I said, he let his hands go more, but he did end the fight in a devastating right hand knockout. I believe it was a right hand knockout, but it was some looping hook while Azzouzi was in the corner. Slept him. Then he didn't get sleeped instantly, but he tried to get up. His hand was all straight when he was trying to push up. They stopped it. So that might be no, because the main event is going to probably be knockout of the month. But definitely 2 nominees for March knockout was right here. Derek Chisora knocking out Zakaria Azzouzi. It was just a devastating hook from a looping hook. Caught him on the temple, dropped him. But up until that moment, it was just a grossly mismatched sparring session. And then we move into the shocker. Like I said, this card was full of different versions of boxing. You have aspects. If you don't take the game, let's say if you don't respect the game is going to make you respect it. And like I said, Derek Chisora came in looking whatever, mismatch. He won. Now when we go to Frank Buglioni versus Callum Johnson was a perfect example of any given Saturday night someone could get cracked. That's why they always say like anyone has a chance at winning a match. And Callum Johnson showed exactly why that is possible. I have Frank Buglioni winning this match. I thought he was just a better boxer. I thought he'd be more active. And in trouble, I thought he'd let his legs use his legs to get out of the way. But it never happened. The fight ended in the first round with a stoppage. But what ended the fight was at about 2:25 mark. They're middle of exchange, and Callum Johnson just clipped him with I want to say a right hook that just grazed him on the temple and kind of sent Frank's head this way. And even though they were still fighting for like another 40 seconds, that clip in the head just flipped the switch off circuits to his legs. And he never really recovered, because after he got hit with that, he got hit with like another one at 210. You know, he goes stumbling into the ropes, and then like he's in a corner. He gets pummeled with a overhand right that drops him. So like I said, he gets back up. You know, the referees are like, okay. And soon as he lets him get back up, Kellum just comes. He hits him a couple more, cracks him, and then he's like, Frank Buglioni just does the baby dare legs. You know, he doesn't fall, but he stumbles back. He has no control of his legs. I don't know if he's a baby dare or a really drunk man trying not to fall. And the referee just stopped it. And then, you know, afterwards, Frank's hopping around on his legs like, I'm fine. I got all control. But at the time of that stoppage, you could just see 1-2 more clean punches, and Frank would have been in a seriously hospital bed. He had no control over himself. That just shows any given day in boxing, it is a done deal. And then we move on to, like I said, that fight, Kellum Johnson became the new Commonwealth light heavyweight with a 1-round stunning upset. And then we move on to the British lightweight title of Lewis Rinson and Scott Cardle. Another thing of boxing. You gotta pace yourself. Like I said, this one, I had Rinson win this fight, and he did win it by a 2nd round KO. But he got hit hard. He got hit clean. Scott Cardle came down from soon the bell round 1. He came in just throwing. Like that, I felt the only way Cardle could win this fight, because I said both these guys were come for fighters. They can't fight on the back foot. That was my prediction. And I said the only way Scott could win this if he throws with Rinson. And from the round 1, he was just throwing heat rocks, throwing everything he had into every punch on Lewis Rinson, and a lot of them were landing. So that's a scary thing to see Lewis get hit that many times by a low power puncher in Scott Cardle. Like, Scott Cardle has 22 wins, and I believe like 7 KOs. And for the amount he was hitting Lewis Rinson, any other power puncher probably would have knocked Lewis out. But Lewis came back in the 2nd round, and he right when Scott was just unloading on him, he caught him at the 140 mark. He caught Lewis with a nice hook, exchanging hooks, wobbled him. They kept fighting. Cardle goes to the ropes. At 121, Lewis cracks him, and the ref says, he's hurt. Just stop it. That is it. Just stop it. And I want to say that the ref stopped this one. I think the ref even stopped this one. Because he was, not only did the ref stop this one, I want to say no. Frank Buglioni is when they threw in the towel, but this one, he got cracked against the ropes at 120. Once he fell against the ropes, he just kept getting unloaded, and that was it. Of all the energy he was wasted and landed so many good shots. Even the commentators were saying, "Is this a smart strategy? Is he going to have anything left for the rest of the fight?" Because he threw it all out on the 1st round. Came out trying to throw it all out in the 2nd round. He just got, they say, hook with a hooker, or don't hook with a hooker. These guys are hooking, and Lewis Rinson just caught him right in the middle of a hook. And then we move on to the main event. Dillian Whyte versus Lucas Browne. Now, I picked Lucas Browne in this prediction to knock Dillian Whyte out in the 11th, 12th round. I thought it was just gonna be a performance of Bass gas tanks. Now I got half that right. You know, I said if Dillian Whyte doesn't knock I keep saying Derek Chisora. If Dillian Whyte doesn't knock Lucas Browne out early, I had Lucas Browne knocking Dillian Whyte out. Now he knocked Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte knocked him out early in the 6th round, slept him. It was a bad gas tank. Lucas Browne, the inactivity definitely showed. He came in there looking like a 38-year-old who hasn't boxed. He had the loose flabby around the belt line, throwing one punch at a time. Lucas Browne came in there making Dillian Whyte looking very, very championship level boxer. You know, when in actuality, to me, Dillian Whyte, he still looked a little wild with his punches. He's throwing hard. You know, he's torquing that whole body into that left hook that's knocked Lucas Browne out. And then you find out, you know, you see Lucas Browne looking real flabby and sick, as Tupac would say. And you find out what he was sparring with Derek Chisora to prepare for this fight. And then, like I said, we already talked about Derek Chisora fight. What type, with the stage of Derek Chisora's in his career, what kind of preparation can he give you? He doesn't even take his own career serious, and you're gonna rely on this guy to get you ready for a fight. Bad mistake on Lucas Browne. Bad mistake on Mr.A for picking Lucas Browne. You know, I still don't fully believe in Dillian Whyte, but Dillian Whyte is right now in the state of the heavyweight, he's probably like the best B bracket, B tier boxer. So you figure you got him, you got Breazeale, you got Big Baby Miller, Povetkin. So those probably the top 4 B fighters. I say Dillian Whyte is probably the best out of that. But like I said, for the fight itself, for the first 5 rounds, Dillian Whyte was just picking jabs at him, a little a hook here. You know, Dillian Whyte never threw really more than 2 shots, and it was the same replay of Mikey Garcia versus Sergey Lipinets. Blind with the left hand, hit you with the over right hand. Because Dillian Whyte, just like Sergey, kept ducking the same way, turning his head blindly to his right, getting cracked to the left with a right hand. And at the end of the first or even the second, Dillian Whyte cracked him with a bad cut on his left eye due to the overhand right side. It was the exact same replay of the Mikey Garcia. Sergey ducked, Mikey cracked him with the right. Lucas Browne was turning his head to the right, getting cracked in the left with the right hand. And then finally, it was just like that the whole 5 rounds. 1-2 shots at a time. 1-2 shots at a time. You know, and then Lucas Browne was throwing even a slower 1 shot at a time. You could see Lucas Browne's, you know, every time he threw something, Dillian Whyte just threw right after it. You know, the punch didn't even get recorded back on Lucas Browne. A hook would come, an uppercut would come from Dillian Whyte. Lucas Browne would throw a jab, a hook would come right with it. So anytime he threw something, Dillian Whyte had something in return fire at the same time, and it was just too much for Lucas Browne. And then in the 6th round, when the fight did end, Dillian Whyte finally decided, instead of just throwing with him and counter him, I'm going to be first and let my hands go. Because when he did decide to be first, like once in a while between the first 5 rounds, the punch landed anytime he wanted. But like I said, in the 6th round, he said, I'm going to be first. He came out, letting his hands go, threw like 4 or 5 punches. They didn't land, but some of them did. You know, it just caught Lucas Browne rattled. And then put him against the ropes, throwing more punches. Lucas Browne came off the ropes with his hands down, left hook to the temple, and he's asleep. And waking up, going to the hospital on a stretcher. After the fight, Dillian Whyte calls out Deontay Wilder. Let's make it happen. I don't know. I don't know about that fight. Is it a good fight? Possibly. But me, myself, I don't want to see that right now. Since we are talking this fight, I didn't want to do it into this video because this is video just about the post-fight cap of last night. But I don't want to overdraw it. But the reason why I feel it's a big question: who's number one, Dillian Whyte, Dominic Breazeale? Even though Dillian Whyte is the silver champion, and Mr.A loves belts, the silver champion is going to get his shot. But why isn't the silver champion, who is ranked number one, not the mandatory? And everyone says Dominic Breazeale is the mandatory. Well, we gotta look, and this is why I feel Dominic Breazeale is the mandatory. And I want to see the fight before I want to see the Dillian Whyte fight.
I think this belongs to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me see that. Right here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Delivered a nice book to me. Where I was, now the reason why I say Dillian Whyte is not the fight I want to see since their championship loss. How do they rebuild themselves? He fought. Let's just say Dillian Whyte fought. He fought David Allen and Ian Lewison. Then he fought Derek Chisora. Got his name into really good competition. But after Derek Chisora, he fought Michael Tan in the U.S., a stinker with Robert Helenius, and a Lucas Browne. Great names. Dillian Whyte probably has, name-wise, the best resume. But when you look at the resume and the fights itself, not just the name, he hasn't had a spectacular performances. Michael Tan was garbage. Helenius was garbage. And it's Lucas Browne. It was kind of a garbage performance. Yeah, it looked great. He slept him. He did what he's supposed to do. But he didn't. It wasn't much. And then you look at Dominic Breazeale after his loss against Anthony Joshua. Who does he fight? He fights. Let's check him out. Dominic Breazeale. His comeback rebuild. He fights Ugono. And that back and forth brawler looked really good. And that was for the mandatory shot, actually. That fight, that back and forth brawl, knocks him out in the 5th round. And then he fights Eric Molina, a common opponent between both champions, and stops him in the 8th. So, just in the comeback performances, Dominic Breazeale has shown a more progression, a more dominant performances than Dillian Whyte. Now, Dillian Whyte has beat the bigger names, but in a shit fashion. And I think the WBC has looked into his performances, not just the names. And they're saying, like, yeah, even though you have the silver championship, your quality of fighting has went down while Breazeale's quality has went up. So you're going to keep your number one spot, but you're not going to get a fight right now. And turn up the quality of your fights like Breazeale here, who has been fighting. Now, whether it happens or not, we'll find out. But this is the Double RT Boxing Show. Please hit that thumbs up. I am your host, Mr.A, the host of your show, Ready Talk Boxing. Post-fight recap number 65, the Dillian Whyte versus Lucas Browne full card review. Thank you for your time. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up, and please subscribe if you have not already. The Double RT Boxing Show, where we and you stay ready, talk that boxing.